Building a wealth mindset. In order to go from a scarcity to a wealth mindset, you're going to need to be conscious of the way your thoughts connect to your actions. To do this, you'll be concentrating on two different areas: what's going on internally and externally. Your internal world is where your thoughts and feelings dictate your mindset. Given a mindset is a mental process, most of what you're going to be working on is right here. But you can't forget your external world. These are the actions that will move you ahead on your path. Both areas are equally important, so you're going to want to put effort into both sides of the equation to develop your new wealth mindset. Let's begin. Things going on internally. What pleases you? Nothing helps change a mindset like giving yourself something positive to look forward to. By scheduling a little me time every day, you give yourself something pleasant to anticipate. Some ideas? Set aside some time to take a walk or have coffee with a friend. Or maybe do something as simple as to read a book or watch a movie you've been looking forward to. Whatever you choose, the point is to do something that brings you joy. Learn something. In fact, never stop learning. Not only is it important to keep your mind active, but the reality is the world is changing very rapidly. It's important to keep up your skill set. Also, if you have specific goals you'd like to meet for the future, these are things you could learn today to help you on your path to reaching these goals. All in all, you really can't go wrong with improving your mind. It's always a wise investment. Be grateful. You probably already know that a thankful heart makes for a more positive mindset. But did you know that gratitude is also an integral part of a wealth mindset? When you allow yourself to experience gratitude in all its forms, you attract abundance, including money. Think about your day in positive terms, right from the start. Start by asking, what's important that I need to get done today? This is more than making a to-do list, even if you're starting with one. Remember to focus on actions that will help you meet your big goal of bringing more wealth into your life. By taking mini actions each day, you are investing in your future wealth. Frame your thoughts in a positive way. By putting things into terms that take on a more optimistic note rather than a pessimistic tone, you start to rewire your brain to look for the positivity. And if you're unsure of the power of words, then focus on two right here: problem and opportunity. For example, that unexpected visit from your mother-in-law might seem like a problem because you don't get along very well. Try reframing that into thinking of the visit as an opportunity to resolve your differences and find common ground. Now you're seeing that entire visit differently. Think about how that would affect your attitude when spending time with your mother-in-law. Training your mind to a wealth mindset isn't restricted to money. Practice humility. No one likes being around someone who's only going to brag and find ways to make sure they come out ahead, especially at the expense of those around them. Instead, make a point to be modest. Accept praise with a simple thank you and then move on. Pay attention to your self-talk. The words you use are powerful, especially the ones that are pointed at yourself. If your stream of consciousness is full of negativity, you start to believe those words. How can you adopt a mindset dedicated toward financial success if you're busy beating yourself up for every decision? Start paying attention to the words you use in your head and replace negative thinking. I never and I don't become I always and I will. You'll likely be amazed at how negative your self-talk is once you start paying attention. Be gentle with yourself as you go through this acclimation process. Beating yourself up for beating yourself up isn't helpful. Your negative self-talk didn't happen overnight, and it will take a while before it naturally becomes more positive and loving. A more positive mental dialogue means that you're rewiring the connections in your brain to look for the things you do right instead of wrong. Choose courage. By worrying endlessly about all the things that could go wrong, it's very easy to become so paralyzed by fear that you never act. The biggest mistake people make here lies in thinking that by choosing courage, they won't experience fear at all. This only sets you up for failure. The very definition of courage isn't to live a life that's fearless, but to step up and move forward despite that fear. Truly courageous people with a wealth mindset act. They don't get caught up in the worry that there won't be enough money or that they'll lose what money they have. Will losses occur? Probably. Setbacks are a normal part of life. But those with a truly solid wealth mindset press on with the expectation that next time things will go differently. Celebrate the small stuff. When you're working toward any goal, it's very easy to get discouraged, especially when you feel like you're making no progress. It's like when driving across the desert and you see the mountains rising up in front of you. At first, you get all excited because you actually see the mountains and you feel like they're right there. But then you drive and drive and drive. The mountains never seem to get any bigger. You feel like you're not making any progress toward your destination for hours. Reaching goals is a lot like that. We have that initial excitement when we first make the goal, and it seems like it shouldn't be all that hard to get there. Then you dig in and start doing the work. You keep doing the work and keep on doing it. After a while, you can start to feel like you're not getting any closer to your goal. By stopping to celebrate the small milestones along the way, you break up the monotony of the work and give yourself that feeling of accomplishment that you sorely need to keep the momentum going. You're going to reach those goals eventually, just like you do at some point get to the mountains on that drive through the desert. Celebrating each finished task will give you a sense of accomplishment and keep you moving to the next job to be done. Discover abundance. Too often, when coming from the scarcity mindset, you get the idea that money is a finite resource and that there's only so much to go around. If you're used to thinking that most of the money in the country is tied up in bank accounts belonging to a handful of fat cats, think again. Most of this money is circulating around doing things, like paying bills, buying groceries, and being used for in a variety of ways. In short, there's more than enough for everyone. This is where you remind yourself that yes, there's even enough for you too. Never forget that a wealth mindset is more than about money. It's about living a life of happiness and gratitude for all the small things that make you smile and feel content. Think about what you've been told. There's a lot of traditional financial advice out there. For a long time, you were told to have faith in the system, that a 401k was the right choice for everyone when it came to saving for the future. You grew up thinking that hard work and staying with the same company forever was the way to go. This proves problematic in today's world. First of all, there's no guarantee that you'll be able to stay at your company until retirement, or that you'll even want to. Rather than trust the old advice, it's time to figure out some new words of wisdom from the world around you. What are your mentors and peers doing? What's the actual work environment you're in, and how does that look for your future? Those with a wealth mindset know how to look ahead and plan for the long term. For example, you might turn a hobby into a side hustle as a way to grow your wealth in an enjoyable way. Maybe you can prepare to leave your job and start that business you've always thought about. What about passive income? How might you do what so many others are doing in the age of technology by finding a way to earn money while you sleep? Perhaps you could take some classes and learn more about investing for your future yourself instead of trusting the experts. Whatever your path, research carefully where you want to go and learn how to get there. Embrace the new truths that you discover as you study the world you're in. Know how to fail. When you look closely at the various fears that people hold, you'll find that failure is at the heart of most of them. In pursuing a wealth mindset, the biggest fear is that you're going to mess things up somehow and wind up in a worse financial situation than you were before. In fact, this fear becomes so pervasive that most people would rather stay in the status quo, no matter how uncomfortable that is, rather than take the risk that they might lose what little they have. The problem with giving into the idea of failure is that you know you're never going to improve the situation even a little unless you take a chance. The only way past this is to realize that failure is just a learning opportunity, nothing more. Failure never has to mean that you're at the end of something. Rather, it's a chance to find a way that didn't work. You need to realize the wonderful thing about failure is that many a great discovery came hard on the heels of it. Recognize that the fear of failure is your primal brain trying to keep you safe. Our fight or flight response kicks in once the excitement of a new prospect wears thin. Since we no longer need to worry about being eaten by a mastodon, take a chance. Buck your lizard brain by doing your homework and making a wise risk that may just turn your life around. Accept that feeling uncomfortable is part of the process. They say you should always take a job that scares you a little. Why? Because that's the job that'll push you out of your comfort zone and teach you more than you ever thought possible. It will challenge you in new and exciting ways, forcing you to become the best version of yourself. Creating a wealth mindset won't always be comfortable. Change always pushes us at least a little outside our comfort zone. Think of mindset development as if it were a new job. You're challenging the old way of thinking and learning new ways to process information and interact with the world. Just like in the job example, adopting the wealth mindset means you're going to learn more than you ever thought possible. It's going to challenge you every step of the way, but the payoff will be amazing. Know that your value doesn't lie in your wallet. Believe it or not, the biggest thing you need to remember about a wealth mindset is that you're not defined by the numbers. In fact, the more you embrace the wealth mindset, the more you'll come to realize that the numbers are just a way to keep score. Your true value lies in your abilities, your thoughts and dreams. In other words, you're already a pretty amazing person. Don't ever lose sight of that simple truth. Things going on externally. Take care of your money. Your mindset is really influenced by the small details. If you're treating your money with contempt by wadding it up in your pockets, what then does that say about how you regard money? Invest in a wallet or purse you like. Keep your money tucked in neatly. Order the bills in a way where you can find what you need quickly and easily. By treating your cash as something worthwhile, you're telling yourself that it's worthy of respect. That respectful attitude should be an important part of your new wealth mindset. Don't let the small stuff pile up. Small inconveniences can really mess with your mindset and suck the energy right out of the day. It becomes impossible to have a positive mindset when you're worried about the light bulbs that need changing or that rip in your favorite piece of clothing. The easy solution? Set aside a few hours or even a day to just perform all these small chores so you can focus on what's important. Too many small things become a large problem. Figure out where you're bleeding money and fix it. Small expenses can really creep up on you. At some point, you've probably signed up for a subscription service such as Netflix or Hulu. You might still be getting a daily newspaper or monthly magazine subscription. Ask yourself, how often do you use any of these things? For example, are you reading that paper? Go through all the automatic withdrawals you have in a month. Are there any services you pay for that you can do without? Be honest about the gym membership you're not using, though the better option would, of course, be to start using it. While you're at it, you might want to evaluate other repeat offenders and expenses. For example, would it be better to bring lunch from home rather than eat lunch out every day? What about taking the bus to work instead of paying for a space in the parking garage? Minimize. When you clear out unnecessary or unwanted things in your home, you open yourself up to the new. With that in mind, it's time to reduce clutter. A simple rule of thumb: if you haven't touched it in a year, you probably don't need it. This goes for everything from clothing to home appliances. Other things to look for? Items that don't bring you joy. That means it's most definitely okay to get rid of that ugly sweater your aunt gave you last Christmas. Someone in a homeless shelter would love to have that sweater. An added bonus to donating your things, spreading joy to others is a great way to develop your wealth mindset. Express gratitude. Don't just sit around thinking grateful thoughts. Let the people in your life know that you're glad that they're there. Make it your mission to express your thankfulness to an individual who is a significant person in your life. This can be anyone from a colleague, a client, or an old friend. How about expressing your appreciation for the store clerk, waitress, or janitor who goes out of their way to be of service? Spread gratitude wherever you go. Don't try to handle everything yourself. For years, people who deal in productivity in the workplace have known that it's always best to focus on your strengths rather than to work on improving your weaknesses. Why? Everyone has something that they're already naturally good at. By focusing their energies on that particular thing, they take that talent to the extreme, leaving themselves open to accomplishing more. When you try and focus on weakness, more often than not, you're going to find that you're wasting your time. It takes a very long time to overcome a weakness, and it might never become a strength for you. It's far better to put your attention where you know you're going to gain the most benefit and delegate the rest to someone else. The things we are weakest at are usually the things we don't enjoy either. Investing in outsourcing isn't a waste of money. It's a wise thing that people with a wealth mindset count on to massively boost their productivity. Do something that fills you full of positive energy. It's easier to think clearly and work on your mindset when you're feeling invigorated and full of life. One of the best ways to do that is to pursue a physical activity that energizes. Take up a sport you love, go dancing. Even just laughing changes your mood entirely and wakes you up when you're dragging. The key here is to make sure that you're working hard enough to feel that endorphin rush that comes from putting your body in motion. Don't work so hard that you collapse in exhaustion the moment you stop. This isn't about running a marathon or working out until you throw up. It's more about dancing to a favorite song or taking a brisk walk to wake the mind up and get you thinking again. Be more practical in your expectations. When you're giving an estimate for a project, allow more than enough time to complete it. For that matter, once you decide a timeline, add a little extra time on top of that to cover the unforeseen. This way, in the best case scenario, you deliver the project before it's due, which makes you look great. Or in the worst case scenario, you're still getting it in on time. When you're reasonable in your expectations, two things will happen. First, you don't overbook yourself, therefore setting yourself up for failure before you even begin. And second, you built up trust and integrity as your brand. This is especially impressive in a day and age when people don't always respect deadlines or your time. Add value to your interactions. By going the extra mile or even just offering a smile or a compliment, you let people know they're important and appreciated. Try doing a favor for someone else without expecting anything in return. It'll make you feel great. Leave people with a favorable impression of you. Having a network of people who appreciate you is a key to building wealth. Find a mentor. Mentors are more than just inspiring individuals that you can look up to. A mentor is also someone who has your skill set with that additional value of having the experience that you may lack. By spending time with someone who's already been there, done that, you'll find that you have a lot you can learn from that individual and gain a guide who provides you with a roadmap for where you want to go. More than that, they have the ability to guide you past the pitfalls that might have bogged them down on their own journey. Step into action. Instead of talking about your dreams, you need to go out there and realize them. Understand that the only way you're ever going to make anything a reality is to create goals and set a plan in motion to attain those goals. This means not getting so caught up in the dream stage or the planning stage that nothing ever actually happens. Just wishing for a brighter financial future never got anyone anything. Once you appreciate that the hardest part of taking action is that first step, it's just a matter of pushing yourself to get up and act. Switching over to a new mindset is hard work. There's going to be times when you forget and revert back to the old way of thinking. Should that happen, don't be discouraged. Just start over again. Like with any new habit, the trick is to keep at it and stay consistent. Eventually, the new thought patterns will replace the old. Also remember, a wealth mindset is going to impact every aspect of your life. You can't just focus on what's going on in your head. You have to follow up those thoughts with actions that match. That's part of what makes all of this so complicated at first. The good news is, once you get these habits firmly in place, you're going to see some major positive changes in your life. You'll see more opportunities. You'll have a more positive outlook overall. The world will perceive you as someone they want to get to know. You'll find it's not as hard to earn money as you used to think it was. You will experience better cash flow in your projects. You'll find it easier to save for the future. You'll experience the joy of setting a goal and reaching it. You will experience true wealth and joy.